guys, so today I wanted to talk about how come I speak about spiritual awakening and non-duality, but at the same time I seem to use my mind and my thoughts, and I seem to talk about a lot of different things like the libido empowerment and toxic metaframing and all of this stuff. I explained to you. Let me explain a little bit where I came from originally, so you will understand, and then you will understand where I come from spiritually. So since my childhood, I've been extremely highly sensitive, like hypersensitive, whereas let's say Mooji and an Eckhart Tolle, maybe they are also sensitive, but my sensitivity is like off the charts. I can sense, for example, I gave this example once when I was young. I was sleeping weird, no, it was during the day actually, and I could sense that something is happening below my bed. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was during the day, and I wanted to, like, I was at the bed, or I was lying down or something. I said something is weird. And I went downstairs, directly under the room under my bed, and what I found is that my mother had put on the kind of like the washing thing where you dry your clothes. It's like that spider, what it's called. It's like it has like these, out of some form of metal, aluminium. It has like these things where you put the clothing on. So I folded that, and it was never there before. So I folded that, and I put it on the side, and in another room. And I went upstairs again, and recognized now the energy is fine. So what in a sense, what I'm saying is my body, or the body, was feeling that little thing just made out of metal under my bed, like 2 meters down. I could feel it, and just as an example of that, and I've always had that. And then as I got older, I started being a tantra master, and I used that sensitivity to heal people from their karmic blockages and stuck energy fields and traumas and stuff. And so that's a little bit explanation how sensitive my body is, okay? Where I was once at a place in Mallorca. It was a conference from the company that I was working at, and I was there alone, and lots of other colleagues from different companies. And I came late to the get-to-know dinner, and so there was only one place left at a big table. And on this big table there were 8 or 9 women. I don't remember anymore correctly. And I asked if I could sit down, and they said, yeah, sure, sit down. And eventually we spoke about astrology, and I kid you not, from 8 out of 9 people, I guessed their astrological sun sign correctly right from the start. And then the last one, I guessed she was Leo, and she said, no, I'm not. And then I pondered a little bit and said, no, I think you're Leo. She said, no, I'm not. And then a little bit later, she tapped me on the shoulder because she saw that I can't let it go. And she's like, I was joking, I'm Leo. So in effect, 9 out of 9 star signs I guessed correctly. And that very quickly made, like, how do you say, it got around the word. And the next morning, like, people were running up to me like, hey, you're the astrology guy. So you can see that the sensitivity that I have gives me various, like, abilities, you could say. But it has also the negative aspect that, for example, as I'm traveling now, for example, in this place that I'm at right now, I'm here just for 2 days. It's in the middle of nature. It's like a cabin, wood cabin. And I was in different places, and I get the weirdest feelings, sensations, and dreams of the people that have been here before, of the water that is running below the house, and so forth. So it gets very, very difficult partially to find good energy places. And this morning I looked at the European map and I tried to find an energy place that was absolutely perfect, it seemed. So I was just guessing, intuiting. I was using my intuition, not guessing. I was using my intuition to look on the map, where do I feel or sense that I feel there's good energy that I want to drive there. And I took a look at all of Europe, and I kid you not, I sense that there's a certain energy spot at a certain place. So I put a spot there, and then I zoomed in. You're not gonna believe this. The place that I picked, southwest France, is Lourdes, or Lourdes. Lourdes is the pilgrimage site where 3 million people a year come to, or something like that. It's a village of 16,000 or 12,000 population, very small, but 3 million pilgrims come there every year, because there the Bernadette had the visions of Maria, and she had them like 30 times or something like that. So lots of visions of Maria. And they botched the place by putting a huge, something there, Christian stuff. But so I picked that place, and it happened to be one of the most important Christian pilgrimage sites in the world. Because the water is supposed to be healing and so forth. And so I wanted to give you an example of how sensitive I am, and then you can imagine if I do tantra massage, I intuitively feel what the woman wants and what the energy is supposed to be like, and to open all the chakras and blockages and stuff. So that's kind of like the history before, or just up to and while I became a tantra masseur, because the tantra massage came when I had a spiritual awakening through Mooji. And then there was the realization, okay, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions, I'm not the body. But the sensitivity of the body didn't go away. It's not like it became actually even more. So I can just feel shit, you could say. And the problem with the ability to feel stuff that others don't is that you need specific places. I mean, even Ramana went away from his mother to Arunachala, and there was a reason that he did that. Maybe it was just intuition, but he said it's something like the center of spiritual universe or something like that. I don't know. Or incarnation of God himself, whatever. And but in effect, he chose that place for energetic reasons. So even though you might be super aware of yourself as to who you are, you still make choices based on energy, and hard intuition. And what I found out is that a lot of spiritual people, because I was already spiritually awakened for a long time, but I still had these seemed like issues that didn't go away, you could say. And what I found out is that the reason why most spirituals are not happy, because they live a forced ascetic life, which is actually the mind trying to tell you what spirituality looks like. So the mind tells you, okay, you gotta renounce everything. You gotta renounce everything, and then you become enlightened. That's just the mind talking again. So you have to use your heart intuition. And what I found out is, looking at my body energy, that my body energy absolutely loves the vitality of the libido. It's like when your vitality blows up and you feel really powerful as a man. That's an extremely pleasant, a nice feeling. The open sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is joy and sexuality. That's where libido empowerment came from. And by the way, libido empowerment and toxic metaframing, these two concepts, came to me through the realization itself. It wasn't like a thought that I had, it was just like a download. And then I started doing that for a month and a half, and I realized that there's two ways to live, two extreme ways of spirituality to live. One is ascetic. You sit down and you let the universe do everything, like Ramana. Or you kind of like manifest by making decisions based on your chakras. So rather than living an ascetic life and saying, okay, I renounce everything, is I accept everything. Instead of I renounce everything, I let everything flow as it wants to. So let's say you become sexually aroused, okay? Ramana would say, sit in silence, observe, okay? And I say, pick the fruit of sexual arousal, okay? So it's more like a hedonistic, spiritually awakened approach. But you don't have to force it because it's already there. That vitality is already there. You're just not suppressing it. You're just not controlling it. You're just saying, okay, let's allow this to fully blossom, like a flower that opens up for the bee to come. Yeah, and not keep the flower closed and says like, okay, I'm not the flower. Let the bee come to the flower. So open up the flower, and for that you make choices. You say, okay, I do not limit myself. I let because it wants to. I open the flower, and that way you are in a sense opening your sacral chakra, right? So so basically what I want to say is that there's different ways to live, even in spiritual awakening, and it's not necessarily the mind, it's actually the absence of the mind that is doing that, because the mind would say, okay, you got to restrict it. That's control, that's mind control and solar plexus control. No, instead just let it flow. And then you see, okay, I have a choice to go to the left or to the right. To the left, I block my sacral chakra. To the right, I open my sacral chakra. I just choose to go to the right. And then as the libido empowerment is chosen more often, you naturally make choices that increase the probability of joy and sexuality. And that's where YouTube comes in for me. So because otherwise I would not have to do YouTube, so I'm extremely honest. See, a lot of people do YouTube that think they're spiritual, but they're not honest. So a Rupert Spira doesn't do YouTube because he wants everyone to awaken. He does YouTube because he wants to be at the center, he wants to earn money, he wants to possibly also have, I mean, he has a wife, of course, but maybe he wants some sexual attention, whatever. But it's definitely not about just wanting out of love to everyone to awaken. He takes money for the sessions and so forth. So it has more to do with a blockage actually than a true spiritual awakening like Ramana, where he just sits in silence. And so these subtle differences must be recognized. Otherwise you don't understand really, how different these teachers are. Although they seem to teach the same thing, they have different levels of you could say awareness letting go, different levels of letting go, you could say, almost. And for example, I give you an example. Okay, when I make a YouTube video and I talk and speak and sometimes also like put it, observe other spirituals, people like Sadhguru and stuff like that, I get attention. Okay, and this attention is purely for my libido, meaning that if a woman sees it and says like, oh, this guy is interesting, I want to spend time with him, I want to travel with him, I want to get to know him, maybe have a relationship with him, then my joy, I mean, the moment a woman writes me that I at least partially like, my joy just explodes. So all women feel free to write me if they want to, Instagram or whatever, Telegram and or YouTube, and I just really enjoy it. Like my sacral chakra opens up, there's possibility for joys, for sexuality and everything. Or I just sit down on the couch, ignore my sacral chakra, and be like, okay, I'm gonna live an ascetic life now. But that you can become a monk also. I mean, and I just decided I'm not gonna do it this way. So that's the reason. That's literally the 100% reason I do YouTube. There's no other reason. That's the reason why I comment on other spiritual teachers also. That's literally the only reason. So for anybody who wondered why am I doing what I'm doing, it's literally for that understanding, because I have a thorough understanding of the energies, and I understand that you can move from, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, all of this stuff, into enlightenment, peace, joy, love, reason, into the highest. I mean, look at joy, right? Joy is on the 3rd place of this omega scale. So I can live an enlightened life, I can live a joyful life, or I can live ascetic and then start with, anger because life is not the way I want, blah, blah, blah. But if you... I do not think we are incarnated here in order to resist everything that presents itself. I don't think that's the purpose. That to me seems literally stupid. It's about interaction in some form.